Hello, hello! Today I'm going to be talking about a couple of different ways of curl training to help you decide which one would work best for your 2C, 3A hair. Okay, so my hair is freshly washed. I just did my normal wash day routine. For those of you that haven't seen it, I will post a link in the description box. And all I've done is just rake through some Boots curl cream and some purple Superdrug mousse and just detangle my hair. So I'm going to show a few different ways of training your curls. One side of my head I'm going to use my Denman D3 brush, the other side I'm going to use my fingers. So I'm going to start by clipping up the side of my head that I'm not going to be doing just yet. Got my trusty claw clip. And this is the side that I'm going to use my Denman brush on. So I'm going to start by sectioning my hair and just make sure the top layers are out the way so they don't end up getting snagged. Just clip that up. Now with the Denman brush, I have found if your hair is not soaking wet, it does sort of snag and pull. So this is just filled with warm water. It's my spray bottle I got off Amazon for about a tenner. So I'm just going to make sure that my hair is nice and wet and slippery. Okay, with my Denman brush, you can see I've pulled out every other row. I don't know what it is about my hair, but I found when I used it with all of the rows of bristles in, it was just too harsh and it just kept pulling my hair. So now there are a couple of different ways of using the Denman brush to enhance your curls. The first one I've seen, which is the one I tend to use the most, is you make sure first of all, again, it's really detangled. You just start with your hair at the bottom of the brush, holding the brush upside down, so it's the top of the brush. Brush, twirl, brush, twirl. And this is the one, as I said, I use it the most, but it is also the one that gives me the most varied results. So you saw there it pulled a little bit, but it does give quite uniform looking curls. The other one I've seen, again, making sure it's detangled, is people just pull it down to the bottom of the curl, of the clump, and then they just twist the brush. And I have used this method in the past, but I find, I don't know if I just need to twist it more, but the curl doesn't always go up to the top. So if I compare the two curls I've done, this one was with the sort of brush curling method, shall we call it? Brush rolling method, let's call it. With the brush rolling method, it's given a sort of looser, more natural looking ringlet. With the brush twisting method, let's call it, it's given a slightly tighter curl. So depending on how tight or how loose you want your curls and clumps to be, those are the two different methods that you can use with your Denman brush. So for the purposes of this video, I'm going to use the first method, the brush twirling method. I find where my hair is wavier, it's just better if I start with slightly looser clumps in the first place. And for the purposes of fairness for this video, I'm going to do the rest of the side of my head on a time lapse just so you see I'm not cheating. So this side has now been brush styled. You probably saw I had a little bit of trouble there, and that is one of the downsides of the Denman brush, as it is quite tricky to get the hang of. So now I'm going to swap to this side of my hair. Again, I'm going to get it nice and wet, and then I'm going to show the different ways of finger curling. Now I've seen two different ways of finger styling, finger curling and finger rolling. Now with finger curling, this is the one that gives me sort of 50-50 results on whether it works or not. So you pull the hair out from the side of the head, and then you just simply twirl it. And as I said, doesn't always give me good results. I don't know what it is about my hair. I think it's just awkward. So the next one, this is the one that tends to work the best for me. And if I've got time, I will do this on my whole head. Finger rolling. So you sort of smooth the hair down, pinch it at the end, and then just roll up your hair, making sure that the end stays tucked in. And then unwind by just twirling it. And there you go. So again, I'm going to do the whole of this side of my head using that second method of finger rolling, and I will do it in a time lapse so you know I'm not cheating. So there we go. That is a couple of the ways that you can curl train your hair. So what I'm going to do now is just finish it off by adding a little bit of gel, and then I'm going to diffuse my hair, and then I'll be back to talk about the results. Okay, so my hair is now fully dry, and just as a reminder, this is the side that I use my Denman brush on, this is the side that I use my fingers on. Now, the good thing I've noticed about when I'm using the Denman brush is that it helps give a tighter, more defined curl pattern. So if you're really wanting to help encourage those clumps and curls form, the Denman brush does have the advantage over finger styling there. It's also a lot quicker, I found. I don't know if it's because you can use the bigger clumps, but I did find when I was using the Denman brush, it was much quicker than using my fingers. However, you probably saw in my time lapse, I did struggle a little bit, and that is the big downside I've noticed of the Denman brush. It's quite harsh, and if your hair doesn't have the exact amount of slip that it needs to get through, the Denman brush will snag and pull. What I've noticed about using my fingers to style my hair is that it gives a looser, more natural wave pattern. So if that's what you're looking for, using your fingers might be a better idea than investing in a Denman brush. Obviously, using your fingers to style your hair is the free option, so if you're on a budget, that is already a massive advantage. However, it's not quite as quick as using the Denman brush to style. And if you're looking for those really tight, defined curl patterns, it's not quite as easy to achieve that. It is possible, you just have to put the finger rolls slightly tighter and slightly closer to the root, but it is easier to get those results using the brush. So those were a few of the advantages and disadvantages of the specific ways of training your curls, and now I just want to talk a little bit about the pros and cons of curl training in general. Let's start with the cons and just get them out the way. If, like me, you've got very long, very thick hair, curl training can be quite time consuming, and I do have to set aside a good chunk of the day to be able to achieve it. I have also noticed I have to keep fluffing up my roots to try and get back some of that volume that I lose. I find I have to sacrifice some of the volume to get the definition. Also, like I've already said, you have to make sure that your hair is soaking wet for the entire duration of the curl training. Otherwise, if it starts to dry whilst you're manipulating it, that can lead to frizz. Finally, as amazing as curl training is, it is not a magic spell. The main thing that determines whether your hair will be straight or curly is genetics and the shape of your cuticle. If you have poker straight hair, you can't force your hair to curl, unfortunately. However, for those of us with a bit of texture to our hair, curl training can do wonderful things. Training your curls can actually help restore the curl's memory, so it can come in really handy during the awkward transition phase when your curls haven't quite adjusted to their natural pattern. Obviously, the main point of curl training is that you are telling your curls where to go, and this has 3 benefits in itself. The first one is that it can encourage clumping, because when the hair is wet, you are setting it into those big juicy clumps that you're looking for, if you're looking for them. It also can help reduce frizz in your hair. That might sound contradictory because I said it can lead to frizz, but if you're making sure that your hair is fully saturated with water for the whole time, you'll be smoothing down any frizzies that are trying to escape. And finally, because you're telling the curls where to go, curl training can lead to amazing definition. If, like me, your hair goes a bit crazy whilst it's drying, curl training can just help keep it in its place. So that about sums up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you could understand me through my croaky voice. Let me know in the comments if there's any curl training methods that you've tried and if there's anything you want me to have a go at. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more content. I'll see you soon. Bye bye! To help you decide which method works. Not more makeup over there. So with the Denman brush, you can see I have pulled out where my hair's slightly wavy. Hang on. It's nothing quite like battling through a video only to look back when you're editing and realise you've got lipstick on your teeth. Obviously, using your fingers to style your fingers. So now I just want to talk a little bit about the pros and cons of curl. Pros and cons. Lipstick check. I'm good. Said manipulate twice and now I need to sneeze. Ah. The main thing, you can help them.